Well, aloha and welcome. I wanted to talk to you today about something that I call emotional legacy. And what I mean by emotional legacy is the legacy that we leave our kids, we leave the next generation in terms of our emotional behavior. So the way that they can role model the sort of emotional behavior that they experience in their families growing up. So when I set up the Facebook group Secret Art of Huna for Powerful Transformation, I really didn't think there were going to be very many people who would be interested in it. I was convinced that Huna wasn't something that was known in the UK, that something anybody would be interested in. So I set up the group with very low expectations. And I was wrong. And I'm really glad that I was wrong, because since the summer of 2019, so that's in the space of about 9 months, we're just under 1,000 members in the group. So that's 1,000 women who've all put their hands up and said, I'm interested in this thing called Huna. I'm interested in the spiritual, the energetic, and the healing practices of the ancient Hawaiians. And that's really, really great. And as I've been working with the group and as I've been looking at the sort of clients that I attract as a coach, I've realized that the people that I attract tend to be women. They tend to be 50 plus, and they tend to be concerned about, they don't want to live their lives in their 50s, their 60s, their 70s, their 80s, their 90s. They don't want to live like their mothers and grandmothers did. They don't want to feel that trappedness. They don't want to leave the kind of emotional legacies that their mothers and grandmothers did. Either the emotional legacy of just shut downness and suppression, and we never talk about what we're feeling, or an emotional legacy of just screaming and shouting all the time, every time anything gets a little bit too much. They want to leave a different emotional legacy. They're looking to bring sparkle and brilliance back into their life. They feel that life has lost a certain joyfulness, a certain quality, and they're looking to bring that back into their lives. They're looking to live and enjoy life and be truly modern women. Because let's face it, I'm in my 60s, and let's face it, nowadays, as women in our 50s and 60s, it's not old anymore. When I was a kid, my grandma was 60, and that was old. That was very old. She was semi-bedridden. Nowadays, 6-year-old women are quite happily doing marathons and triathlons and all sorts of things. It's a very, very different world that we're living in. And the women that I tend to serve are women who are looking to really embrace that and look at how Huna can help them embrace that. And one of the things that I've noticed is that there's almost this epidemic of women seeking their purpose, really keen to find out what it was they were put on the planet to do, but not quite sure where to go for that help. Women who want to have better relationships and looking for Huna as a way of supporting them in that. Women who want to be more physically vital and healthy, wanting support with that. And women who, let's face it, aren't doing so well emotionally, aren't feeling that joy, and really want to use Huna to help them reclaim that joy. And those are all things that Huna can help you with. But it's not just a question of sitting watching me doing a couple of videos. It's not just a question of reading a book. There's work to be done. And the work, I always say that the work has 2 main phases. Well, 3 actually, but the first phase is identifying what lies at the root of the problem. What are the limiting beliefs? What are the values? What lies underneath it all? What do you need to deal with so that you can have this sparkle and brilliance and leave the emotional legacy that you want to leave? Second question then is, once you've done that work of identification, how do you resolve it? How do you let go of the beliefs and the emotions? And Huna can really help with that, because it's got some brilliant, really accelerated tools for helping with that. And then, of course, the third piece is taking action. Because if you keep doing what you always did, you'll get the same results as what you always got. So taking action very often is just as simple as changing your behaviours, changing the way that you react to things. But sometimes it's a bit more complicated than that. So one of the ways that I help women to really deep dive into that is by running retreats. I run 1-day workshops, I run 2-day workshops, and I run retreats. And the big retreat, the 5-day retreat, happens once a year at the moment. But it's a real opportunity to look at what it is that you need to resolve, using the tools to resolve it, and then bringing in new strategies, new ways of being, new behaviours, so that you can actually bring back the joy and sparkle, find the purpose, and live life in a different way. If you'd like to learn more about that, go to secretartofhuna.com/retreat, or you can contact me directly, secretartofhuna.com/diary. And I look forward to talking to you very soon.